If your planche looks something like this, or like this video is gonna be for you. I've been teaching you how to activate the protraction properly in planche, giving you some tips and tricks, but then also showing you a few exercises that will really help to achieve the perfect protraction. Let's get straight to it. First off, let's just talk about what actually protraction is. It is the positioning of the shoulder that we want to have in a planche. And the two key components in getting a protraction is thinking the shoulder should move forward, that's one part of it, and then also downwards. So this is protracted. If I only do one of them, this is not going to be correct protraction. We're doing, the forward protraction part of it, but we're not getting the depression, which is also a crucial part. So those two combined, forward and downward, engaging the lats, this is the position we want to have. And in planche, it doesn't need to be exaggerated in this position, definitely not. Just having the engagement, I'm tightening with the lats, I'm pushing the shoulder down, and then pressing forward. That's what we want to have. So now that we have that cleared off, let me show you a few techniques to get it properly while you're actually doing the skill, because it is a bit easier said than done. Right in the beginning of the video, I showed a planche where the bum was really high up. So basically having the bum up here, and usually this is an effect of having the shoulders too much forward. So what I want you to focus on when you enter the planche is not to think that your shoulder should be pressing up here. That's not what you want to do. You want to have the shoulder depressed here and from here pressed, and it's going to be more actually with the lats down than actually pushing up here. So that is the first thing. And it's going to solve a lot with not being up here, but actually being here. A massive difference. So I hope that is caught on camera, the difference of being here, which is what we want to be, compared to being with the shoulders up here pressing. I'm so much more weak here than if I had them down, depressed, and forward. Much stronger, and I can engage the lats way more. The second tip I want to give you is a trick that will make it much easier to get the right engagement. And that is going to be to twist your arms. And basically pointing biceps forward and trying to tilt or twist your elbows in towards each other. So there's a massive difference. If you look closely on my elbow, if I have the elbows out, this means that my shoulder is open up. And right before this, I mentioned that we want to have the engagement with the lat, and this is going to be the opposite. If I'm up here, it's going to be hard to get that engagement. We want to be as close together as possible, and that is done if we twist the biceps forward. So if I hold my grip here, we have a lot of movement here, and I want to make sure I'm here. Biceps forward, elbows pointing backward. This means that the shoulder and lat, that is fully engaged. And from here, we are so much stronger. I have the possibility of pressing down, and depression is much easier. So this is going to make it easier to have right protraction, which is the fundamental in planche. Now the third tip I want to give is regarding mindset towards the planche and how to think about protraction. Because it's all about which muscles do we think about when we're holding it, and what are we actually focused on engaging. And a game changer for both me and a lot of clients that I've been working with is to shift your focus from thinking that it's a pressing exercise. So don't necessarily think that you should be, leaning and pressing here. More focus on pushing downwards. It's a total game changer, and in the beginning it can be a bit off in the head to see it that way. I'm going to try to show what I mean. So instead of thinking that I'm leaning now forward and all I can do is push in the parallel direction. So if I'm leaning here and I push here, I don't have a lot of strength. It's basically just going to be my shoulder that can do this movement. But if I'm in this position, I want to think that I should be pushing about 45 degrees forward. In this position, I'm much stronger. I can engage the lats. I have a lot more possibilities with scapula to move. And here I'm so much stronger. And it is the position that we want to be in. So instead of being here, trying to just do this movement, I'm going to be here, trying to just push down. I'm going to show you what it basically looks like. And it's getting the engagement. And when I'm here, I then want to push down instead of coming from the above, trying to just keep it. I can't even hold it in that way. But instead of here, just trying to use the shoulders. Definitely a lot of explanation now, but I just want to make it clear. And the key thing to bring from this trick is to think more of a pushing down into the ground, scapula and lats engaged, than to think it's only the shoulders working, because game changer for me and a lot of others. So now that you know the fundamentals, the mindset towards the protraction, and basically what it actually is, I want to give you a few exercises, 3 in specific, to just show you how you can train for it. Because of course, knowing how to activate is one part of it, but then we of course need to gain strength in the scapula and do things that simulate protraction. That is going to be part of it as well. So let me show you a few of my favorite exercises that you can definitely incorporate in your planche training. First one is going to be protraction lift ups. I don't know if there's a correct name for it, but it explains it pretty well. And we want to focus on the engagement, and we're going to be in the tuck position. So I'm going to show you a few reps, firstly slow and controlled, and then probably more realistically how it would look like in your training. So key components, first off, make sure the bicep pointing forward. We're going to add everything together that I just mentioned. So biceps pointing forward, we want to make sure the shoulder is deep pressed, so down, backward, and then press into the ground. Those are the things we want to focus on. We're going to start in a basically straight arm position. Going to keep the arm straight throughout the whole drill or exercise. And then from here, lift up into the tuck position and then come back down. And really focus on engaging the lats here. We want to push down. And back to the mindset part I mentioned about not thinking it's only shoulders, but a lot more pressing with scapula and lats. So I'm going to show you a few reps that's more realistically how it would look like. You don't need to stay in the hold for that long. Just come up, touch the tuck position, and then come back down. Biceps, shoulder engaged, press up. And if this becomes too easy, you can start moving into advanced tuck, basically just moving the legs further back. And have in mind, keep the shoulder deep pressed, the key component that I really want you to bring from today's tips. Now, this was the first one. Let me move on to the second exercise. Next up, we have protraction push-ups with dumbbells. This, of course, you need extra weights for, but that's why I'm showing a few different varieties of exercises so you can choose which one suits you the best. You don't need to do all of the ones I show, but adding 1, maybe even 2 in your sessions if protraction is one of your weaknesses can be really helpful. But this one is great because you can incorporate progressive overload, you can always take heavier weights, and you have good sort of control over the weights. You can always take a lighter one, starting off there, and then as you get stronger, just put on more weight. So super convenient in progressive overload sense. But let me show you what it looks like. So you definitely need 2 of them. In theory, you could probably use a straight bar as well, but 2 dumbbells I would say is the best way. So what we want to do is lay down straight, and we want to enter the straight arm position. From here I want to push up only using the scapula. Then drop down and then engage the scapula. Also here, if I'm just going to hold these ones, here I also want to twist in the shoulders, so activating the lats and being in this position. So I don't want to have my elbows pointing out, then it's harder to get that engagement. But biceps pointing backward, and then scapula is the only sort of range of motion that's occurring. So let me show you a few reps. Last but not least, we have the weighted scapula dips. This one is specifically going to target the depression part with the shoulders that we specifically want to have in the protraction for planche. And we need some extra weight. So once again, one of these exercises, if you have a gym, really convenient, but that's why I'm showing a lot of them. And then a dip belt. But what you want to do is enter the sort of dip position, the starting point. And then now the difference though is going to be that the range of motion only going to be with the scapula. So I'm keeping my arms locked. Now I'm just fully relaxed with the scapula. That's why the shoulders are up to the ears. And then from here, I want to fully engage and come as high up as possible, and then come back down. Push back up, come back down. And once again, since we're using weights, we can put on progressive overload pretty easily. And here you can definitely do a few reps. But make sure to get full range of motion, so all the way down to all the way up. And my last tip, if you truly want to become a beast and save so freaking much time, is to get a coach or to learn from someone with tons of more experience. And that is actually the exact reason why I created the Calisthenics Masterclass. I'm gonna leave a link to it as well for anyone interested. But it's basically a platform where I put all my 7 to 8 years of knowledge within calisthenics just to help other people reach these sort of high-end goals, planche, handstand, front lever, much faster, and also skipping all of these trial and errors. So skipping all the waste of time exercises, skipping all the waste of time progressions, just straight to the actual nuggets that will get you results. So check out the link if you want to progress even faster. If you stayed around for this long, I want to give you an absolute golden tip that I apply for every single planche session and that I recommend literally any one-on-one client I train with to do, because it is literally the ultimate hack to be or to get the right engagement for planche before even entering the hold. And what do I mean by this? I mean that whether you're using a resistance band or whether you're doing any progression, make sure all the key components are there before even entering the hold. So if I want to do a planche right here, right now, I want to make sure, all right, what the freak did Simon tell me to do? Well, twist biceps forward, that I will do, that I can do in this position as well. What else can I do? Well, I can definitely make sure my position with the shoulders are correctly engaged. So twist them, get the shoulders deep press my head forward, and then protract, press down. Now I'm in a pretty solid position with my shoulders before even holding or before even pressing or putting any extra strain onto the shoulders. And then from here, I can also actually make sure my hips are properly engaged. I can press my hips forward and squeeze the glutes. This is pretty much the connection that we want to have. And then from here, I can just lean and then lift up. So that is the tip I want you to bring on to your next session. Always make sure the engagement is correct before lifting up. It's going to increase the chance that you're doing the correct form and getting the proper engagement way earlier on in your journey. That is going to be pretty much it for today's, let's call it, tutorial video. But if you want help within any areas within front lever, planche, handstand, it can basically be anything within calisthenics. Comment down below what you want help with, and maybe that's going to be the next video that I will provide. So with that being said, if you enjoyed it, hit like, support the channel, and probably subscribe as well so you don't miss the future tips and tricks I have for you, because there is tons more to come. See you in the next one. Choo-choo!